Hallo, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdeed, ji ayanu, goedemorgen.
Pakhairagale, ni hao, tunashume, washmale, ohio, gonzaimas, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hareshuma chatore, ahlan wasalan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, suaviab, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into BTV World and are watching World this morning alongside the very fabulous, the very fantastic, the very superb, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Hello Shiza, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you so much for asking, and doing even better now that I've had 2 cans of coffee.
Wow.
What about you? How's your morning been?
Well, I think that I'm feeling great too as well, and there's always a reason why you feel great, ladies and gentlemen. Early in the morning when you wake up and you realize that you've actually slept enough is a feeling which will keep you running for the rest of the day. And this is what I want to do, because I think I have a message similar to that too as well, that for all of those people who are very disciplined in their life, who have a timetable, I think generally are more successful, even though they say that people who stay up late are more intelligent and whatnot. And I think that this comes from people who really wake up late as well. So for all of those people who are out there, ladies and gentlemen, every other morning is actually a ray of hope where you actually can achieve and put in all of the hard work what you want to do, and the kind of destiny you see for yourself. So please make sure that every other person who's out there in 46 different countries is actually prepared to do whatever it takes to reach to your destiny.
And face life as it is as well. But something opposite happened to me, Shazad. I actually did not catch enough sleep. That was because, well, for the first time ever since I shifted into the new house, I had, mashallah, alhamdulillah, a lot of guests yesterday. Yeah. And of course, I mean, it's so much fun sitting with them, talking to them, especially when it's family. So it was past midnight and things were just, getting elevated in terms of, conversations and fun. Yeah. But here's the thing. I think I totally agree with you when you say that you have to have like a schedule or sort of a timetable or a proper routine of things that you have to do. And I realize that because now here's the thing, of course, I do have goals and stuff. I do want to realize them. But there are times when I get sort of, lazy or lethargic in achieving them. Okay. Like I'd be like, oh, because I don't see them in front of me, I'll be like, oh, I still have time, I can do it later.
Are you referring to procrastination?
More or less, yes, procrastination as well. But then I realized when I had to submit a lot of my assignments for my university last month, I was like, I need to note them down so that they don't skip my mind and I have to do them. And once I started making a proper timetable and stuff, I was actually achieving a lot more than I was before. Exactly. So I think that's a good, as basic as it does sound, it's a really good idea, to be honest.
And that's a very valid point. And I think that this is one of those things which actually helped me throughout my university as well, because everything which I wanted to remember, what I would do is that I would write it once or twice or thrice as well, and then I think that all of those things still are in my head and are fresh too as well. And even now at times, there are things which you think are very important for you. I write them down and I make sure that that they are placed somewhere on the wall where I'll actually come across that particular chart paper or piece of paper every other day. Right. But that's perfectly fine. One more thing, and that is that since a lot of people have a lot of time on their hands, these days as well, and there's not much to do, you cannot go out, and you're not captivated. So you have all of this time where you are indulged in a thought process. You think about your childhood memories, you think about so many other things, and you get nostalgic. What is that one memory you get nostalgic about?
Oh, in terms of memories, there are a lot, but there's one particular, how often you listen to a song probably, or you listen to a conversation and a phrase reminds you of something so important in your life. With me, I get the strongest nostalgia with scents. Oh, I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, if it's raining outside probably, or a certain perfume, or the scent of a certain candle.
That was the time when you actually kind of smelled that kind of scent,
right? Absolutely. And the exact memory would come to my mind as if it was just happening. I don't know how to explain that, but it's because of... Yeah, more or less.
But our guest over here, ladies and gentlemen, is smiling, and he's over here to speak about something else, but we'll definitely ask him what makes him nostalgic about, it may be childhood memories or whatever he wants to do. But for me, I think that, it's a song. Whenever I listen to a song which I might have heard in somebody else's company, I start missing that person.
Yeah, that makes sense as well.
This happens to me quite a lot. But not just that, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of people who are not from, does not reside in Pakistan. They live overseas as well. And they miss their homes, and they miss their homes back over here in Pakistan as well. And there's this, whenever I travel, I have seen that all of that Pakistani community which we have abroad have this thing for Pakistan where they want to do something for their country, and they feel that they have this responsibility of giving back to the country they belong to from. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by a gentleman who took an initiative, made sure that, whatever kind of life he had in Norway, he's going to say goodbye to it and come back to Pakistan, wear shalwar kameez and a waistcoat, and make sure that he's going to serve the people of Pakistan. Maybe we do not know what the reason was, but we are going to definitely ask that. But this gentleman, ladies and gentlemen, happens to be the team lead for Yarane Watan. It's an application. And the prime motive of this application is to connect people, the overseas diaspora, to people over here as well, and so that they can provide their services. Even though we know that we are a country which is partially dependent on foreign remittances as well. So for all of those people who are out there and have been sending money for years and years, we really need to thank you for that. But we really need to be in this discussion. We need to ask what this platform offers and what is there in it for us as well. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, a very good-looking gentleman, smiling because we were talking about nostalgia. He's none other than Mr. Usman Mushtaq. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Wa alaikum assalam, good morning. Your positivity is infectious. That's why I'm smiling.
Amazing.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us. And it's wonderful to have a compliment of such sort. But since, a lot of people are getting infected these days, let's just make it contagious. Yeah. But Usman, first of all, before we speak about Yarane Watan, what made you nostalgic when we were actually talking about what made us nostalgic? You were smiling, right?
Well, actually, it made me think about that. I feel pretty nostalgic when I go to places of my childhood.
Oh.
And that can be my neighborhood in Norway or my parents' village in Pakistan whenever we came to visit here. So that makes me very nostalgic.
And think about all of that time, and you go back in time and you're like, I was a kid and trying to reach the bell, or probably,
Exactly.
going to the neighbor's place. Wonderful. So,
Now, sorry, if you let me,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
But Usman, here's the thing. You are, for all of those people who don't know, you are the advisor to the Prime Minister for Health. Is that true?
Right.
How did that happen for you?
So, I'm born and raised in Norway,
Yeah.
and my background is in health and economics. I'm a medical doctor, and I met SAPM Health almost a decade ago in the World Health Organization.
All right.
I was a young intern at that time, and we connected, and we stayed in touch. And when he became the SAPM, he was assembling a team. He was starting initiatives, and then we discussed, and it was a great opportunity to come to Pakistan and contribute.
Right.
And that's wonderful, and thank you very much for saying that. And I didn't mean to ask this question, but I'm going to ask you this, that a lot of people have actually criticized on the kind of services provided by World Health Organization. And now, since you have told us that you were an intern over there as well, so you might know. But I think that this was one thing which, WHO might have anticipated about or might have been prepared about. Obviously, they've always made sure to be a part of wherever and in whichever region there is a catastrophe or there's a disaster, whatever. But I think that this was one of those things which they really need to be prepared for. Do you think that they've actually done a good job? Do you think that they've done a fair job by just telling people that, okay, this is something which is coming our way, let's do something together? Because they were very slow with research as well.
So the coronavirus pandemic, I've been working with this since the start of when everything started back in mid to late June with the Ministry of Health, and our interaction from Pakistan with the WHO have been incredibly professional.
Right.
And there is a certain thing a international body as the WHO can do, and there are certain things that they cannot do. So what they can do is that they can advise governments on the threat level. And I believe that the Director General of WHO, Dr. Tedros, have been doing so quite consistently since this became known that this was a quite dangerous infection that could turn into a pandemic. So he was screaming his lungs out, saying that this can become a pandemic, countries need to act. And a lot of countries, both because of political reasons and other reasons, did not manage to react in time. Exactly. Pakistan had one of the best responses among the low and middle income countries because we had an SAPM and we had a prime minister that understood the risks, and we started our preparations early.
Yeah.
Well, that's brilliant. But Usman, here's the thing. Of course, well, no one saw this pandemic coming, right?
Yeah.
Like the WHO, no one was ready for it as well. But now, because this is the new normal and everything, things have to be, I want to say, everything has to be digitized in a way. Now we're talking about telemedicine or teleappointments in terms of, people who need a doctor. Yeah, teleschools even, every single thing. So your app, let me know if it is anything along those lines as well. Secondly, when you say that you've been working in the health department for so long, so I feel like you're so apt to be sitting over here. Generally speaking, this is a growing trend over here, especially of the pandemic in Pakistan. Telemedicine, I already said. But if we talk about the majority of the people who do not have basic primary or secondary health facilities, sitting in a small village near Shahpur or even, Tata somewhere, how are they going to get a doctor on the phone and speak to him and let them know what's wrong? So again, is this facility for that elite class?
So first of all, saying that this pandemic obviously uprooted the way that we live our lives.
Of course.
Right? And another thing that it did was that it turbo-shot the inequality that we have in our society. So people that were marginalized, that were living in low resource settings, that were poor, unfortunately, they have been hit the hardest.
Of course.
So this pandemic hasn't been kind to them, and then the entire lockdown and the impacts that I've had. So Yarane Watan basically is an initiative that was conceptualized by Ministry of Health and Ministry of Overseas Pakistanis in collaboration with the overseas health community.
Oh, okay.
And that was actually one of the reasons for why I moved to Pakistan, because I wanted to operationalize this initiative. And the entire idea is to connect our overseas Pakistani resources within health. So we have tens of thousands of doctors that are trained in Pakistan or trained abroad like myself,
Right.
Nurses, pharmacists, academics, etc., that want to give back. And many of them are already doing so in a fairly large degree.
Of course.
However, what we wanted to do was to, at the government level, create a platform that would make it easy and facilitate it to an even larger degree. So lowering the threshold for how people like myself can come to Pakistan either digitally or physically and contribute. So our original idea was that we wanted to start off by clinical and non-clinical exchange of people. But then the pandemic hit and travel became difficult. So what we instead did was that we created the platform as a first go, and we are allowing overseas healthcare professionals to link up with Pakistani healthcare institutions that are working on digital health solutions. So those are your telemedicine companies. Those are the government initiatives as well. Ministry of Health and Digital Pakistan launched a telehealth platform not so long ago. So we're connecting overseas healthcare professionals to that as well. And obviously, access to digital tools are difficult in rural settings, but it is increasing with time.
Yeah, but okay, go on.
I just wanted to ask you, how's the response so far? Because when we speak about the medical institutions over here in Pakistan, and then people who are experts in medicine abroad, and them connecting, and then obviously there's a lot of advisory going on then.
Right.
Do you think that our medical institutions over here are at the receiving end and they're receiving it very well as well, or they're like, okay, we might have a problem with our thought processes, and you come from a different background, we have a very different ground reality, so we might not be able to pull this off, whatever you're recommending?
That's a very good question. And I have to say that Pakistani health institutions and Pakistani health community is very well familiar with the diaspora community, because there are just so many people that are sitting abroad and that have interaction already. What we are seeing is that when we launched this initiative, Prime Minister Imran Khan Sahib launched this in late April, we have seen thousands of registrations. So over 2,000 people that have registered, overseas healthcare professionals that have registered to the platform. And until now, just in 2 months' time, there have been between 200 to 300 engagements already. So people have signed up, found a Pakistani institutions that they want to volunteer with. So this is all volunteer-based.
Got it.
And already providing their services in various ways.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. And also, I mean, when you're telling the youth especially that there is this sort of initiative and this is how you need to go about it, I think this is a brilliant idea, of course. So what is the future of this when the pandemic dies down? Inshallah, very soon. Are you guys going to have that exchange thingy that you talked about?
So, I mean, we are looking at Yarane Watan as an initiative with many different strains. One is the, person to institution exchange. Another thing that we're looking into, and inshallah we'll start fairly soon, is that we want to connect institutions with institutions.
Oh, got it.
So there are Pakistani, overseas Pakistanis that are, in high administration positions. They're doing really well. They're leaders of their institutions. How can we use their connections, their knowledge, and skills for capacity building Pakistani institutions. And then secondly, in this corona pandemic times, we have launched a webinar and a tele-training series
Okay.
for Pakistani frontline workers, where international and national experts are giving webinar and tele-training series to Pakistani frontline healthcare workers, our heroes in the country.
Yeah, of
And
course,
that's brilliant
heroes.
as well. I think that we definitely need this exchange of information as well, and it will be, in a way, very fruitful for everybody, because when we kind of combine people from different walks of life, and not just that, from the similar point of view as well, or from the similar perspective, I think there's quite a lot to offer. And it is even a sunnah, ladies and gentlemen. For example, if we go to buy something, we actually need to check the prices on 2 different shops as well. So in a way, we're actually broadening our horizon, but then at the same time, we're learning more every day, which is great. But now I want to speak about the challenges you might have faced in making sure that people get to know, or people are more aware of this Yarane Watan app as well abroad, and then as well as in Pakistan. How are you marketing this app?
Okay, so it's the platform itself. I mean, we're using obviously the tools that we have available within the government toolkit. So obviously through social media, but also quite importantly, we are using the overseas Pakistani healthcare organizations. So in US we have UPNA, in UK we have APPS UK and UPNED. So these are healthcare professionals that are organized in these countries. And in Australia we have some, and in Norway we have some. So we're using them to push this, because this is a collaboration.
Okay.
This is not a just a standard government initiative. This is a collaboration between government of Pakistan and the overseas healthcare community. And the outreach that we're getting, I mean, we're getting quite a lot of traction.
Alhamdulillah. And that's great too as well.
That's
But now I'm
great.
going to relate to it,
Yeah.
the kind of situation you're in. So I used to work for a private channel earlier, before I started working for PTV World, and I think that was the best decision of my life, that I came to this prestigious institute as well. But I had a mission, and the mission I had was that, if early in the morning, a young boy and a young girl, sitting in front of the camera, making sure that they're going out on 46 different countries, and are on the airwaves, I think will change the picture of how Pakistan is perceived. And it worked out very well for all of us, alhamdulillah. But for you, being a doctor, born and raised in Norway, you might have had a very good life. Doctors are paid incredibly well abroad as well. You coming back to Pakistan and then making sure that you're going to settle over here, do something for Pakistan is a great thought. What were your parents like when you told them that, you know what, now I'm a doctor, I'm going to go back to Pakistan and let's see what I have for them, for all the Pakistanis?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Well, I mean, the first thing that I was thinking, that obviously this opportunity comes with a lot of uncertainties.
Exactly.
So Pakistan as a society, I mean, I came here on vacations, but professionally working here, and especially in the federal government, it's very different. So the first kind of big shock that I had was the cultural shock in terms of how we work. So the working environment.
It's different.
But alhamdulillah, with time, if you're adaptable, you learn, and there are many positives to draw, and you can take with you your positives.
Yeah.
My parents were slightly uncertain. They moved from Pakistan in the 70s, other times, and their connection with Pakistan is different than what I'm experiencing.
Yeah.
Islamabad
Right.
is a safe city. It's a beautiful city. We have great people here, some of the most knowledgeable and intelligent people that I've met in my life have been working in this working in Islamabad. So alhamdulillah, it's been quite quite good experience for me so far.
Exactly, and that's great too, and I think that it's brilliant. But one last thing before we head out, do you have a question?
I don't have a question. I actually have a comment, and I want to say that, where you said that you had a culture shock in terms of the work environment over here. I think it's really, I want to say, ironic and so strange that when you talk about professionalism or the work environment, it should be regardless of whatever culture you're belonging to.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is not so in Pakistan, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true, ladies and gentlemen. But very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, one last thing which I wanted to pose to Mr. Usman Mushtaq over here was that, how is it to be an advisor to somebody who's already an advisor to the Prime Minister? I think that it comes with a lot of pressure, no?
Of course, and a lot of responsibility.
Well, yeah, I mean, the position title is not so important. The most important thing is that I have been given the opportunity to contribute at the level which I think for me it has been quite. I mean, you feel like you're actually a part of something.
Yeah.
Right,
And
you're making
especially-
the change.
Right, like, and Dr. Zafar Mirza is a person who's worked incredibly hard over the past year, and especially with this pandemic, it's been a great learning curve for all of us. and I've been given quite a free range to develop this initiative and other work that we're doing in the ministry as well, like being able to take part and get to know great colleagues, and it's a team effort. So none of us are working in silos. So it's been great, both to share knowledge and also to learn.
And it
That's
was wonderful to have you over here in Pakistan besides us, and making sure that you're actually helping all of those people who are out there so that they can connect and benefit from each other. Thank you very much, Usman. We're really proud of you that you left back Norway and then you made sure that you come back to where your roots were originally from. But ladies and gentlemen,
we are right now headed to a very short break, but before we do that, as usual, I have something to share with you. But here's the thing, Shazad. On the weekend, I actually rewatched The King's Speech.
Okay.
And surprisingly, I cried at it. And I usually don't cry at the movie. So here's the
I
thing.
cried every film I watched.
Aw, but here's the thing, Shazad. I mean, when you come to realize so many different people have so many different problems. And I'm particularly mentioning about The King's Speech because of course, I mean, the issues that he had with his speech. Now, those were probably genetic or even developed later on and could be fixed later on. But a lot of people, because of maybe a shy personality or because of whatever maybe childhood trauma they have, they're not really open in speaking. And if they were to have a speech therapist or a mentor or someone to actually give them that confidence that, hey, the world is yours, I mean, go just take it over, it would be great, right? So I feel like this is what we need to talk about right after this short break, how to be an amazing or, well, a confident speaker. Stay tuned. Good morning. Welcome back to Well This Morning, ladies and gentlemen, on a very informative and a very energetic morning here at the PTV World Studios. So, well, before we went on a very short break, I did give out a link of what we will be talking about, but I need Shazad to explain it to us again.
All right, so let's do that. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity as well. And ladies and gentlemen, when I went to university, I had problems in being on stage and giving presentations.
I can't believe that,
or,
to be
or
honest.
speaking in front of public, but yes, I did. So, I think today I'm actually going to take advantage and thank you, Madam Shazia, for actually giving us this kind of confidence, because she was the one who actually taught us how to be on stage and not to care about anybody, and whatever you feel like, you should actually speak about that as well. And if I was a child who actually had problem doing public speaking, I think there might be a lot of other people as well.
Of course.
And where to go to if, God forbid, you have not been to a university, and God forbid that you didn't have mentors in your life. I think that will be definitely very chaotic for anybody to realize when they enter or step into their professional life. So let's talk about this 100-year-old non-profit organization known as Toastmasters Club, ladies and gentlemen. It has existed over here in Pakistan since 1980 and beyond as well. But ladies and gentlemen, there are 5 core I think objectives of what we want to talk about today, because they help you in combating fear, they help you in building confidence, they help you sharpen leadership skills, and then they help you with improving improvisation. I think that's one of those points which I would love to talk about, because if you're improvising, how can you improve your improvisation?
And we need to learn that as anchors as well. We need to improvise all the time.
Yes, exactly. And we need to learn every day, and how to expand our network. I think that these are the 5 crucial objectives which we wanted to talk about. We're very lucky that we have actually been joined by members of the Toastmasters clubs, and they're over here in the studios with us. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by the Club Growth Director for Pakistan Toastmasters District 122 and Chartered Accountant by profession. He's none other than Mr. Malik Muhammad Umair. Hello, Assalamu Alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum salam, good morning, how are you?
Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you. And alongside Malik Muhammad Umair, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who had a similar problem just like me, that we were very bad at doing public speaking and whatnot. But finally, he's over here on television, ready for an interview, very calm, with a big smile. So this definitely indicates that Toastmasters has actually helped him alleviate the kind of confidence he had earlier. He happens to be the Vice President Education of ICAP Toastmasters Club 122 once again, engineer by profession. He's a public speaker now, and he's none other than Mr. Athar Ahmed. Hello, Assalamu Alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam, kaise aap? How are you?
Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for joining us, and it's wonderful to have you. So, yeah, Shiza, you want to get started?
I actually do. So here's the thing. I have seen, and I'm pretty sure you all have, if you've been to university or class at any point in time, people get legit panic attacks when it's time for presentation or something, or answering a certain question to a teacher or something, and it's not funny, I tell you that. I mean, for all the people who know how to talk or who know how to address people, it might seem very generic, but for the person who's going up, dude, it's really hard. So now, when you're helping such people or training such people, and then it's sort of, bestowing them with a new personality, with a new them. How does it feel for you to be that mentor?
It feels definitely wonderful, and it gives you a sense of accomplishment.
Absolutely.
And it gives you a sense of making a positive contribution in your society as well. Because these days when we see our youth definitely needs this thing. 2 years back, I acted as one of the judges in NUST EME.
Okay.
They had their presentation and TED Talk contest, and they invited us as judge. The students there, they had wonderful, absolutely brilliant ideas.
Okay.
However, they were unable to put those ideas across. And that really made me feel bad, that there are such wonderful ideas, but they cannot sell those ideas. And then we pitched them this idea of Speechcraft program conducting for their students, which basically helps them in organizing their thoughts and then putting across those thoughts successfully in front of the audience and selling their ideas. So we successfully conducted that with NUST EME as well. And now when they text us, when they're successful these days, and when they're able to successfully pitch their ideas, their startups before investors, and then after that they send us messages that thank you so much, because of you we are doing wonderful.
Wow.
So it is that important skill. And other than with investors and startups, if we look in our daily lives, we have to communicate with our spouses, with our children, with our friends, with our colleagues. which words do you choose? What words are going to have what impact on the other person? That's another thing that we learn in Toastmasters, that if you have to provide feedback, if you have to communicate with someone, which words are you going to choose and how are you going to choose them?
That's
Exactly.
brilliant. That's brilliant. Absolutely.
And I think that this is something which everybody needs to work on, because every now and then we do fall short of vocabulary too as well.
And that is when we make like big blunders as well. I mean, when you're in such a serious conversation and
Yeah.
you use one wrong word, everything goes downhill as
Exactly.
well. But now moving on to Yothar, how did you guys meet first of all? And we hear that you've had like an amazing experience with them. We've seen you here, mashallah, that's brilliant. Let us know about the entire journey.
Wonderful. So if I look back at my journey, I wish if I had known Toastmaster back in my university life.
Aw.
I can totally relate to Shahzad when he said that in university life you don't have that communication skills. So I started Toastmaster back in August 2018, and believe me, on the very first day, I was so nervous that when I went up on the stage, I barely spoke for 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay.
And I was not aware what was going around. I was gathering up my thoughts. I was totally nervous. I couldn't speak. And after that, I spent around 2 years in Toastmasters.
Yeah.
And would you believe it? I managed to win the national championship.
Wow.
Amazing, amazing. That congratulations on that first
Thank
of
you
all.
very much.
Now do you feel like you're a totally different person?
Totally different. And what I would add to this is the journey and the process that Toastmaster takes you is amazing.
Yep.
So you start from the icebreaker where you introduce yourself to the people. Then you work on your gestures, your facial expression,
Yeah.
your voice imitation, and that too with the whole branding and with the including a Toastmasters training. So that is a step-by-step process. So
That's
it took a while,
interesting.
2 years, but believe me, it was.
It worked out.
It worked.
And,
It
and
was
it's
worth it.
wonderful, you know, when things work out your way, and or you know whatever or however you've planned it. I think that you know it gives you this a very surreal happiness as well, which is great. But you know, Athar, you just very correctly mentioned that you can relate to me when I spoke about my university incident. There was one more problem I had back in my university, and that was that you know till my 6th grade, obviously I was in a co-ed. But then later on, you know, I had to go to college and whatnot. You know, it was all boys college, and then I went back to university. So I even had problem conversing with the you know other gender over there in the university with women or teachers and whatnot. I felt very shy. Can you relate to that too?
Totally. So if I look back into that, so when I came back from, I basically studied my FSc from Edwards College, Peshawar.
Yep.
Okay.
Now when I shifted to Islamabad, no one could understand my Urdu accent.
Alright.
Like people would say, so are you speaking English or Urdu? Please speak in English.
Yeah.
And my accent was so different. So when I came to Toastmasters, I started working on my pronunciation,
Yeah.
my communication, clarity of words. So I could
So
totally
it did
relate
help you,
somehow.
and now you're having a wonderful conversation, and that's brilliant. And I think that this is something which we require, ladies and gentlemen. This is a skill set which we really need in today's world, and we really need to have this kind of ambition within our own selves as well, that we really need to acquire such a skill set as well. But very quickly, I'm going to come on to you, and I'm going to ask you, what is that magic which Toastmasters do, and that you know that people have actually surfaced on platforms like these, like ours as well, and are so happy to speak about whatever their experiences were. How do you build that confidence? What's the kind of exercises everybody has to go through?
We believe in learning by doing, and we strongly believe that it's a platform where leaders are made.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give you a very small example.
Yeah.
These days, we all tend to go towards public speakers and one-day workshops to inculcate those skills in us.
Exactly.
But I ask everyone a question. Can you learn swimming just by watching videos over YouTube?
No.
No, you cannot. You have to jump into the pool.
Absolutely.
You have to practice it day in, day out, and then you're going to be a good swimmer.
Exactly.
It's same with communication and leadership skills.
Yeah.
True.
We provide you with a supportive platform to practice those skills, to hone those skills. We provide you with mentors who guide you through every step of your journey and who help you in becoming a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
And we provide you with resources that you can use to develop your communication, conflict resolution, negotiations, and lots of other skills.
Exactly, and
That's
it totally depends on how eager you are to learn, you know. And since you mentioned about swimming pool, I've got an interesting story for that as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, the credit goes to my eldest sister that she helped me learn, you know, swimming and you know riding and whatnot, because her husband happens to be an armed officer as well. So I used to go to Khari and Kent over my summer vacations. And I think I was in my 8th and 9th grade and I didn't knew swimming. And they took me to a pool, and then they was like, okay, you know, go ahead, you need to learn. And there was this instructor, and I was like, you know what, if I have to learn, I have to jump in the pool. And I did. And so as soon as I jumped in the pool, not knowing swimming or how to swim, I opened up my mouth, the water went in.
Oh,
and then that's the time when I started struggling. And yeah, I came up, and I surfaced on the water, and I was swimming. And yes, that's very true of you, that you really need to be dedicated to a cause which you think is going to have a positive impact on your personality.
Absolutely. And you know, speaking of that as well, I think there are different approaches people take to teach you things as well.
Yes.
Again, talking of swimming, I remember the story from somewhere near Mona Depot, you know, where
where horses are, yeah.
Yeah, so my dad was, of course, in exercise over there for a few months, and then we went to meet them. And I was an infant, and apparently there was a boat or something over there, so we were like boating around and whatnot.
Yeah.
And my dad's like swimming around the boat and everything. My dad's like, throw her in. Imagine me being a baby, my mom throws me in the water.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I mean, I was fearless. I learned how to swim quite early, and then I was even a swimming coach. So that is what, I mean, it really means to actually go after what you really like doing. But now, very quickly, I don't know if we have time though, but
Yeah,
I
yeah, we
want
do.
you to explain to us, when you talk about improving your improv, please, we need to know about that. Let us know.
We basically have different modules where we have training material, and we have, like I mentioned, we have mentors and coaches as well who guide you through the process. I'll give a very simple example. When we were preparing Athar for the national championships, he had a dialogue in his speech on growth mindset where he was sharing the dialogue between his mentors and how he went in a contest.
Okay.
So I told him that we need to improvise this. We need to include voice imitation in it to give it, to make it more impactful, to tell the audience that yes, this is the mentor and this is you talking.
Got it.
And he said that no, my voice imitation is very poor. I cannot do it. So I told him no, but if we want to win the national championships, we have to do it. And then we started working. We tried different techniques of voice imitation. And that's how basically we inculcated voice imitation in him.
That's interesting. And that was your first time actually learning it? Can we
Exactly.
get like a demo or something? Is it even possible?
So just I will give you a short demo.
Yes, please.
So there was a mentor that came to me. Hi, what is your big idea? And I said, good morning, sir. My product is a cashless shopping counter. It displays all that on the top of the screen. You choose the item, insert the cash, tag the bill, and leave. That is for the first mentor. Now, when there comes the second mentor. Hi, what is your big idea?
And then you repeat the same.
Yeah. And now when there comes the third mentor. So what are you doing these days?
Okay, got it. That's interesting.
So
And
you-
this way, you're also sort of taking taking notes of other people's way of expression, way of communication, and then you're learning as well. It's very interesting.
So very quickly towards the end, you know, since a lot of people watch us and in a lot of different countries, how do you think one can acquire leadership abilities? And one more thing, do you think that leadership comes from within, or do you think that anybody can acquire a skill set to be a leader?
We strongly believe that everyone can acquire the skill set to be a leader. We provide you with a platform to hone these skills. One of the very basic attributes of being a good leader is providing a constructive feedback. And in every session of Toastmasters, which lasts over 2 hours every week, we have half an hour session on evaluation where every single speaker is provided with constructive evaluation. So there you hone your evaluation skills. Another important attribute of being a good leader is to be an active listener. When you are evaluating someone, you have to listen attentively.
Of course.
Then we have other rules as well, like when we are talking, we tend to use crunch words, you know. We have a certain role player who makes a note of those crunch words, and at the end of session, he or she shares those crunch words with the relevant person. So again, that hones your skills. Then we have exercises on team collaboration. We have exercises on conflict resolution. We have exercises on negotiation skills. And we also have exercises on emotional intelligence. All of these lead to a person becoming a wonderful and inspiring leader.
Exactly, and that's wonderful. And this is something which, you know, at a very early stage of my television career, I realized that, you know, for people who do public speaking and then are like, are really
fillers.
not good public speakers, then,
True,
you know,
true.
this is one valid point. But very quickly, I'm going to ask you, who can be a member of the Toastmaster? Is it open for everybody? And how do we communicate with the issues which a person is actually going through? And how did it all happen for you? And what kind of a person do you think you are now in comparison with the time when you came from Peshawar?
So first of all, anyone can become the member. if you are 18 plus, you can become a member. And I would advise everyone to become a member as soon as possible if you want to achieve something in life. And if you ask me, if you really want to achieve something, believe me, nothing can stop you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
If you have the will to become a good communicator, a good public speaker, believe me, no one can stop you.
Exactly.
That's nice.
Toastmasters, a lot of other, these are just platforms. If you have that will inside and you are willing to pay what it takes to be the good communicator, you can do that. And if I look back at my journey, I recently got selected for an international certificate.
Wow.
And
Oh,
that
brilliant.
was all because of the good pitch that I gave to them due to my communication and leadership
And that's
skills.
wonderful. And
That's
you very
nice.
rightly said that, I don't know whether it's rightly or not, but you said 18 plus. Is it like, the 18 plus we get on films as well, 18 plus? Or, I mean, why 18 plus? Why not at an early stage? I think that everybody needs to start at an early age so
I
that they
think
can
that-
acquire the skill set very early.
We have basically platforms for both. We call it 18 plus at Toastmasters because it's a contract.
Okay.
The membership
I
form is a
thought that the
contract.
otherwise, yeah.
So you have to be 18 plus. But for younger children, we also have programs like youth leadership programs and gavel clubs where we inculcate these skills in the kids. These days, we are working on youth leadership program with kids from 6 to 12th grade, and we are working on them.
That's
And
wonderful.
One simple thing that I would like to point here is we believe in breaking barriers and not budgets. I'll give a very simple example of Train the Trainer program, where they charge more than 100,000 rupees for one workshop, which lasts over a week. Whereas here at Toastmasters, we charge only $70 for 6 months, and we meet every week for 2 hours, and you get to practice the skills to hone those skills.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you very much
Nice.
for being with us today and letting us know and making us more aware about Toastmasters Club itself. And one of the guests, ladies and gentlemen, who was a regular guest over here on the show, Mr. Kamal Shiraz, he was the president of Toastmasters
Yeah.
Club over here as well. And I think that every other person whom I've met from the kind of reference you're making over here are wonderful human beings, and they have a skill set which somebody will envy to have.
Absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, just to mention over here, although I feel like we don't need to, but here's the thing. This is not sort of a personal endorsement or something. We're not supporting the brand, but we're sort of highlighting the things that people like you, the audiences, are in need of. So this is just a suggestion for you. And we love doing that, bringing to you what is best for Pakistan as well. If there's anything you need to write to us, write on our Facebook page with the name of,
World This Morning on your television screens down below.
on Twitter,
On Twitter, it's World This Morning without a G.
on YouTube.
On YouTube, go to PTB Ball and then look for World This Morning. You will get the most viewed show over there.
Absolutely. And very important thing for all the regular viewers, you have to be sort of supportive to us and loyal to us again, because
Yeah.
the repeat timings have changed from 11 to
5 past midnight, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you support us the way you do. There's only an extra hour you need to wake up and catch the repeat timings. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, changes. I think everybody who can adopt to changes is the one who will actually prosper in life. Please make sure that you keep on adapting to changes, and obviously you will have a very improvised life. Let's do that. Let's keep it that way. We pray that everybody out there who's fighting against COVID-19 or any other disease get well as soon as possible. Look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Good morning.
Take care.